I think it's time so we can start the session now. So once again, very warm welcome to all of you. Welcome to today's session on social CRM, what, why, and how. My name is Kapil Nakra and I'm one of the co-founders of Digital Vidya. Today's session is very, very interesting. Just to give you a little background, some time back we did a survey uh, which ran across all our alumni, and we just wanted to know what are the top few reasons why people actually use social media. And the top three reasons that came out of as a result of that survey was customer acquisition, online reputation management, and CRM. So CRM is definitely one of the topmost reasons why people, businesses worldwide are using social media. And today we'll actually go into the detail of the world of social CRM. And we'll look into how the social media is actually transforming traditional CRM systems. And we have with us Sweta Sharma. She is the co-founder and CEO of Simplified 360, which is one of the leading company offering tools to leverage social media effectively. And I was talking to Sweta today morning, and she told me that the primary reason, or in fact the major reason why businesses are actually opting for Simplified 360 tools is social CRM as an objective. So really want to welcome you, Sweta, and thank you for taking time out for all of us. And just for those of you who are attending our session for the first time, this session will go on for 1 hour, and we will have a presentation for about 30-35 minutes initially, and then we will have a Q&A. So during the session or even right now, if you have any question related to social CRM space, just type it down in the question panel, and I'll take up all those questions. Without taking any further time, over to you, Sweta.
Thank you, Kapil. Thank you everyone for taking time this afternoon and joining us. It's really encouraging to see such high number of people registering for the webinar. Like Kapil mentioned, I'll be talking about social CRM, what, why, and how of social CRM actually. Just to add on to the introduction bit and what we do here at Simplify 360, we are actually a social business intelligence company, and in a very broad sense, what we do is we collect information. We collect information, about brands, about competitors, about your products or your keywords in general, and we do a lot of analytics on top of it, and we present that information to you in a way that makes sense, in a way that you can take any business decision using that information. And we also provide you a platform where you can engage with those people in real time. So that's what Simplify 360 does as a product, as a platform. And one of the largest use cases for us, like Kapil was saying this morning, we're discussing, the largest use case is social CRM. Primarily because we work with a lot of software integrators and a lot of BPO companies, and we have actually implemented social CRM for some of the top 500, Fortune 500 companies, and there has been a huge shift in how companies were implementing social before and what they're doing with it now. And it's really interesting. So it's very interesting for me to talk about this topic actually, because it's really relevant to us in this time. Now, before I get into what social CRM is about, there's a big there's a fundamental I think that's for us as an organization or any company which is customer centric, which is when customers share their story, they're not just sharing pain points. They're actually teaching you how to make your product, service, and business better. Your customer service organization should be designed to efficiently communicate those issues. Now, this is the fundamental of any any company that wants to deploy social CRM. In this presentation today, we would be covering what is social CRM, so the basic understanding of what this whole hoopla is about. Why do you need it, and how do you implement it? Again, before I get into defining what social CRM is and what is the basic of it, I just want to, I just want to define some gap which exists today in how consumers, consume consumers think of social media and how business think of social media. Now, this is a study done by IBM last year, which ranked the order, which ranked the reasons where customers connected to companies on social, and where companies thought that customers are, connecting with them on social. So on the left hand side, you can see what customers thought, and on the right hand side, what companies thought that, this is why customers are connecting with them. And the surprise is, the most important reasons for customer to connect with brands on social was discount and purchase, while businesses put that as the least important reason. They thought that customers do not connect with them because of discount and purchase. Now, this shows you what a big, difference, what a big perception in the gap is so big. And the idea is, just to be able to bridge that gap, you need to listen. You need to know what your customer wants. And it's not about knowing what they're buying from you, but it's about knowing what they're talking about you, or what they're talking about in general. Now, let's get on to what social CRM is about. Now, when you Google for social CRM, the first definition that you get about it is by Paul Greenberg, who's kind of guru for social CRM. And he defines it as: social CRM is a philosophy and a business strategy supported by a technology platform, business rules, workflow, processes, and social characteristics defined to engage the customer in a collaborative conversation in order to provide mutually beneficial value in a trusted and transparent business environment. It is the company's response to the customer's ownership of the conversation. Now, I cannot see you guys, but I'm not too sure how many of you got it, because it's not really as straightforward. So how about we go on and we define it in a very simple, plain English. Social CRM is actually nothing but using social data to establish a relationship with your customer. And social CRM does nothing but enables communication between the business and their social consumers. Now, you may ask what social consumer is, and the answer is very simple. You and me and whoever, all of you who have joined the webinar today are social consumers, because you are on social networks, you are on Facebook and Twitter, you are reading, live feeds, you're reading news, you are, taking inputs from your friends. Even if you may say that I do not really brand bash on social, I don't really go and talk about any brand, I don't connect with any brand on social. The fact that, when you go to a restaurant and you read reviews about a particular restaurant, it says that you are a social consumer, because you are valuing somebody's opinion, and you are taking a call about, buying or not buying something based on that opinion which is existing on social today. So social consumer is all of us who are consuming information on social, who are learning about new products through social channels and networks, who are taking information and trusting only the relevant information which is out there, who desires to have a conversation with a brand rather than having a one-way ad message which exists, which even exists now, but that has kind of gone down really, and expects brands to be active in the same social networking site that he or she hangs out in, and wants brand to listen, engage, and respond quickly. The other thing that that comes to mind is why such a big talk of social CRM. CRM has existed for such a long time. It's been there for years and years together. But what we are seeing today is social has been a buzzword for years now. But we were talking about it as as something, as a separate entity. It's something that has come in, and it's a Facebook has become this big and Twitter has become this big. But the point is that social today has just added another layer of communication. CRM existed all this while. What social has done is it's added another channel to the existing CRM. You had your mail where people were asking questions and getting responded to. You had telephones, you had chat applications, and now social has become another angle altogether. So it's not really such a huge difference. It's not really brought another way of thinking altogether. It's just plain addition of a new layer. So if you see, but just that addition of layer has brought so much of difference in the organization, in the perspective of organizations and how how people are consuming that information today. For example, CRM was handled by a specific department. You had your CRM department. You had a team which would look at conversations and reply to them. While today everybody is the team member. For example, as a customer, I could be your team member. I could talk good things about you. I could answer somebody's query. Somebody asking something on social. I could before a company's team member replies to that, I could jump in and I could answer that question for him. Initially, it was happening at a company-centric process, while now it's a customer-centric process. You had defined channels. You had mails or phone calls where companies responded to you. Now it's happening everywhere. I do not expect a company to reply to me only when I'm mailing to him. I'm expecting the company to reply to me when I'm even going to sites like grahakseva.com or mouthshut.com. They were set business hours. Now it's happening 24/7. I have the right to, if I have a problem at 12 o'clock in the night, I write that complaint at 12 o'clock in the night, right? It was transactional before. It was only when I bought something did I have the right to, ask a question about it. It's interactional now, right? I mean, it's an interaction level. Message flow was outside. The message flow is now inside. So that's how the traditional CRM has now shifted to social CRM. And actually, the whole thing has been brought about by just data. I mean, the social data has brought this entire change. And social data today, has been implemented at various layers or various departments of organizations. It's been used by marketing teams. The good thing that we are a platform company, and that's a good thing for us because the platform is used by different organizations for different things, and we get to see different use cases every day. For example, all the digital media agencies that work with us are using system heavily for marketing. They're running campaigns, they are measuring those campaigns, and they're using a lot of insights. They're tracking keywords, and they're using that insight to tell the company that these are the things that are working for them, these are things that are not working for them. So that's from the marketing side, and that's marketing team is the first team in any organization to actually adopt social media. A lot of usage from customer service angle. Like I said, we work with a lot of BPOs and software integrators, and the heavy usage is on customer service side. So for we have one of the telco companies, one of the largest telco companies in the world, uses a system, and they have 100+ agents logged into the system 24/7 to answer complaints. So, they're not just monitoring your conversations from your 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock or 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. They have agents clocked in from 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. Every day, and they are responding to your messages live. So that's customer service. We have companies like SafeNet, which is a data protection company, which has 40 agents logged into the system using social for selling. So they're tracking leads. They are responding to these leads. They're trying to sell their offerings, social, and innovation. Of course, I mean, there's so much of intelligence out there, so much of data out there that using this data could be, your traditional market research could be completely replicated on social and can help you in all the innovation that you wanted to use data for. So now that we've defined what social is, which is nothing but using social data for engagement, for connecting with your customer. And I'm not really talking about big systems here. I'm not talking about any enterprise level solution here. I'm just talking about social CRM as is, implementing social CRM. It could be done just by one person. It could be done by 100 people based on what your organization is and how, how big your organization and what your requirement is. So why do you need social CRM? Why do you need to implement social CRM? One, because it's the age of extreme customer centricity. Second, you need to sell without selling. I wouldn't buy something that is forced on me. I would buy something when I have recommendation from my friends, when I've read reviews about it, when I'm completely confident that I'm making a good buy. Of course, I mean, a few things here and there, I just buy by itself. But most of the buying decisions are happening because of peer recommendations. and technology is acting as a facilitator. So like I said, social is, the channels are just providing another layer to the engagement, and it's just facilitating that conversation. So we believe that there are three main reasons that you need to adopt social media, you need to have social CRM in your organization. One, because social customer is social business. Your customer is social today, and to be able to cater to that customer, you need to be a social business. So that's number one, why you need to implement a social CRM. Second, big data, volume, variety, and velocity. There is so much of data, there's so much of information. It's very important for you to listen to all that information. Of course, Twitter gives you the fire hose, and you can buy data from a lot of data selling platforms. But it's not really relevant. I mean, you need to listen to only things that actually matter to you. And to be able to identify what matters to you, you need to implement some kind of social CRM strategy. And third is all about collaboration. Now, if you look at organizations today, most of them have some kind of social media in place. There are companies which have Twitter page, there are companies which have Facebook page, there are companies which are what's happening at a central level. The whole idea is that, when you expect some kind of success, when you expect some kind of ROI, you cannot really do it in silos. You cannot really run Facebook ads and just have number of Facebook fans to be your, measure of success of social media implementation. So it's important that social media or social CRM is implemented at a central, and then you have all your different teams taking cues from there in a hub and spoke model where all your teams are around your central system, which is implementing the social CRM. So that's on why do you need social CRM. And now I'll get into how do you get started. What do you need to do to have a social CRM in place? Now, before you even get there, it is important for you to define what your requirement is. If you are, if you're a 10 people organization, or if you're a 10,000 people organization, or if you're a 100,000 people organization, it's about, it's not just about size of employees, it's about size of data that you have. It's about how much of conversations happening around you, and what is your goal at the end of the year. Defining the requirement would actually define the solution. So what your requirement is, the solution would be designed. Then there will be an engagement layer on top of it. So how many people do you need? What kind of engagement would you be doing? And then, of course, you need a measurement. So you need to define, what will be your ROI? Is it about the response rates that are going to define your ROI? Is it about, the number of cases that you've solved, resolved would be your ROI? So that needs to be defined completely before you even venture into implementing a social CRM in place. We actually believe a successful CRM system must ensure robust listening. So you should be able to listen to the keywords of your importance, be it your brand, be it your products, be it your competitor or industry. The listening has to be sound. You should be able to listen to all the conversation that is relevant to you. It should be able to provide constant engagement. You should be able to constantly engage with these people, and you should be able to have a seamless workflow. Now that is a bit of technical, and I'll get to it after a couple of slides. But these are the three main fundamentals that you need before you're deciding on what kind of CRM system for social do you need to put in place. Now again, like I was saying, everybody has a different kind of requirement. So for example, when the telco that I was talking about that you're working with, for them, it's not important that they listen to every chatter that is happening about them. They're just concerned about Twitter, Facebook page, the Facebook page that they own by themselves, and 100 sites, including customer complaints, consumer complaints, Grahak Seva, mouthshut.com, and other list of sites that they have put in place. While companies like HDFC Bank wants to monitor all the conversation that is happening around them, and they want to respond to all these conversations as they happen. So it's completely based on, what the company considers important. Do they want to place a system that would be able to, man those conversations? Now, apart from these, something that is really important and has to be there is real time. Your system has to be real time. For example, if I have an issue today with Airtel, I'm having, I'm facing some problem with their 3G network, and I write on Twitter, this conversation would not be important, and I'm looking to switch my network. This conversation would be really of no use if they see this conversation after 2 days, because I would have probably jumped my network. I would have already switched. Likewise, if I'm planning to buy something and I say that I'm looking to buy a mobile phone, and let's say for example Samsung sees it 3 days later, I would have already bought my phone till then. So it's not about just seeing the conversation. It's about seeing the conversation as it happens and be able to take the action as it happens. Unified customer view. Now, this is probably the holy grail of social CRM, because this is about having a 360 degree of your customer, to be able to identify your customer across platforms, across networks, across channels. To be able to say that this is the same customer who talked about a certain issue 3 months back on through an email, talked about another issue when he called last month, and is talking about 3G network on Twitter today. That then is when my my integration is successful. Then is my social CRM successful, because I can get all the information, all the intelligence about this person only when I get a unified view of this person. And this is probably one of the most challenging thing that we're trying to implement today. And this is, we're doing a lot of research on this actually. Segmentation being another point that is really important in any successful SCRM implementation. To be able to bucket people into different categories, not just based on what age category he falls in, or what kind of ethnicity, or which location does he belong to, but to be able to bucket these people based on their behavior, based on behavior analytics, based on what he's talking. For example, if I know that these are the 5 people who are talking about a certain issue or certain thing, then I can do targeted campaigns just to tap into those 5 people. We're working with a lot of companies again on targeted campaigns. Now, this is where I cannot really name the company, but this is really on the on a very initial phase right now. But what they want to do is they want to build some kind of intelligence where they can say that these are the 100 customers, and they want to profile them in a level that they can do targeted campaign, or they can do some kind of new sale to them, that's saying that based on the conversation that they've had and transactions that they've done, they want to bucket them into categories of, these are the people that I can sell something new and would be ready to buy something new in the next 1 month, in the next 2 months, in the next 3 months, and what is the kind of value that they would be ready to buy. So this is really very, very interesting information, very interesting use of data. And prioritization. Now, prioritization is another thing which is very important, because just to be able to handle conversations better, your priority, to be able to prioritize your inbox better, prioritization can take 2 levels, one at a conversation level and the other at a person level. For example, some of the companies we work with, Neater Robotics, for instance, they have a lot of prioritization, rules created. So they have all these business rules where they say that whenever these kind of conversations happen, these are really high priority to me, and I want to tackle them as they happen. While on the other conversations, I'm ready to wait out for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or maybe half an hour. But priority conversation is something I need to, deal with, as is. So prioritization is really important. Another layer, like I said, if there is an influencer who has talked something negative about you, you need to tackle them immediately. So to be able to keep a track on people, prioritize conversation based on people is also important for organizations. So, like I said, these are certain points, certain use cases that we are seeing evolving. These are what companies are doing, and most importantly, these are something that larger organizations are doing because they're investing on systems, on expensive systems to, to be able to automate this entire thing. But it's not important for everybody to do that. You can start at a very small scale. You can just say that. Maybe this year I just want to create a Twitter page and I just want to be able to respond to people who, who ask me something, right? Or who are complaining about. Um, this is a very interesting infographic, and this gives you some information that what's happening in 60 seconds. So, for example, in 60 seconds there are 72 hours of videos which are being uploaded. In 60 seconds, 2 million Google searches are being done. In 60 seconds, 14 new songs are being added on Spotify. In 67 seconds, 70 new registered domains are getting registered. So this just gives you an idea that there is so much to be done. There is so much data out there, but all that is not really important for you. All that is not really relevant to you because your customers are not everywhere. Your customers are probably in just just probably talking on Twitter or Facebook alone. They're not even going to forums and discussion sites to talk about you. So maybe you just need to focus on those 3 sites alone, and that will do it for you. And actually, as a matter of fact, that another trend that we are seeing is when we started working with organizations, all the companies were very specific that they wanted to monitor, the entire social web, and we had to actually partner with a lot of organizations to bring certain data of certain countries which we didn't have. But now what we're seeing is that companies have become very focused. They're telling us that they don't want to listen to everything because they don't really care about everything. They just care about, they have made specific pages. They have made, customer-centric pages on Facebook, customer-centric pages on Twitter, and that is the only 2 channels apart from, certain forums in India, if they are an Indian client, certain forums in US if they're a US client or any other region, and they are going to monitor only the conversations happening on those 10 channels. So that's a new trend, and I think that makes a lot of sense because it is actually not possible to man everything. So that's about how social data can be used, how social CRM can be implemented in your workplace. The things that you can do at different different departments or different teams is at a customer service department, you can listen to key problems across the web. So even if, let's say, you don't want to really spend on any system, you can just go on Twitter, create saved searches for your company, create keywords level searches for your company, and just track those conversations and listen to those conversations and reply to them. Of course, you would not be able to integrate it with another CRM system, but at least if there are just 5 conversations in it can be done pretty manually. You can have marketing and public relations team using social CRM to gain insights about conversation around brand, around competitor, around industry, and then they can have these insights which can be used for creating content. It can be used for your SEO, for content marketing, for campaigns that you're going to design for the next month or next year. All your feedback, all your conversation that's come from social, it's so rich. There is so much of data that it can actually be used to, to fine tune your product better. To if you're planning to launch another product, you can do your entire market research on social itself. And as a matter of fact, we've actually enabled this also for a lot of companies who have planned to launch another product. There was this auto company which wanted to launch in India, and before they launched, they actually studied the Indian market. They took all the social data. They studied, how Maruti was doing, how Tata, all the other competitors were doing, and based on the inference from that study, they decided not to enter India because it was not really making sense for them. Likewise, for example, we work with Star TV, and they use so much. They use all the data around them to fine tune their content to make better content for the next show. So all this data can be used very efficiently for your product launch, for fine-tuning your products, etc. And sales, of course, you can use social heavily for your sales. We work with a lot of companies which have teams which are selling. You have your campaigns you can create from a system. You can track your leads. You can say that intent to buy, and you can keep pitching to them. You can track your competitors and see what are the things that are lacking in them, and of course look for opportunities. So that's how different teams are using social CRM. Now this is a very technical bit, and this is just to show you how it is done in at a system level, where you have a lot of conversations coming for your brand, etc. So you have all these conversations coming from different social web, social channels, social networking sites, etc. And this gets collected in one place. That message gets segmented into different tags. So you have, are these complaint related conversations, are these sales related conversations, are these product feedback related conversations. So all that gets bucketed into those conversations, either manually or automatically, and then it gets assigned to different team members based on if it's a sales team, it goes to the sales team members. If it has to go to the customer support team, it goes to that team. And then you have a knowledge repository where you have all these traditional CRM system. You have all these answers or canned responses. Those are handy. And then they go for approval. The agent schedules the replies. They go for approval, and then they go out of the system. So that's traditionally, or that's how the workflow bit works. There's a lot of, this is a little simple version of it. It gets really complicated with a lot of prioritization that is done, tagging, automatic tagging, and priority inbox, etc. So I think that's pretty much it in terms of implementing social CRM. I think Kapil, we can take the questions now.
So first of all, thanks Sweta for providing us the comprehensive view. So guys, it's time you can ask a question. There are already some questions which have been asked. So so to start with, I want to ask one thing from you. One thing that I'm really getting present to after hearing all what you've said about social CRM, that it's really complex. Handling, from listening to engagement to workflow management, and then there are various teams working together, every single aspects, everyone will look at it from different eyes. They need to have different set of keywords to listen to, and different days of engagement, and then taking care of all of the aspects that you mentioned, like the real-time aspect itself, like would take a lot of energy. So in terms of the overall resource management, is it that there are existing operations, and with a tool in place, the existing team can handle all of it, or do you really recommend that some specifically for social CRM initiatives, do you recommend that there are some special team that needs to be deployed on that, or it's just to train the existing employee and use these tools and everything will be done? So how do you, so the whole resource bit, if you could throw some more light on it.
Right. So actually, Kapil, what we see in organizations today is, most of these organizations already have resources at different team level which are doing social in some way or the other. For example, I'll give you Star TV's example. They are using social in a really big way, and they have different teams which are you have your marketing team, you have your content team, you have your consumer insights team which is using social. And what they've done is it was happening nonetheless. All these guys were using social. So consumer feedback team was using a lot of data insights. Marketing team was doing a lot of activities with their respective digital media agencies. And of course, there are some teams which have not really implemented them yet. So for example, probably HR team is not using social right now. They're doing it at a very ad hoc level. So what we do, or what we tell the organization, is that we would do the implementation, and the teams that are using social right now, they can they will just have access to the system. So what we do is just bring a, bring kind of a standardization, or, make it at a central level. And resource-wise, we just use the resources which are there already in most of the cases. While there are certain companies which, which have not really implemented it at a huge level yet. So then comes the use of hiring more resources and training those resources. I mean, to answer your question, I think companies which have already understood the use of social and have already implemented it at a silo level already have the resources, while the companies who have not implemented it or have implemented a very small part of it would need the resources.
Got that.
I hope I answered the question.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let me take some more questions now. First question is asked by Karan Sood. He wants to know, you mentioned that people are influenced by their peers for buying stuff. Can I use a tool to anyway enhance my revenue? So is there some way that a peer influence can be enhanced or can be measured, or yeah?
Yeah, but wouldn't that be from a customer's point of view? How would that be from an organization point of view?
I mean,
I just want to understand the question a little more, I guess.
Got that. I mean, just to add it from my side, Karan, you can add if I'm not really taking the aspect that you want to cover. Like, for example, is it possible if to get to know what users are talking about me, like if they're tweeting about me, can I know what is the revenue generated out of one tweet generated by some X guy? Is there a tool that can give me a comprehensive view? Okay, last month I got X revenue from Twitter, and out of that, it actually originates from some tweet. A significant percentage of it originates from a tweet by X guy. Is there that kind of analysis possible through tool, which is more in terms of the ROI? And is there a way in which I can respond to them in an automated fashion such that the customer, the whole the conversation about my product can be enhanced?
Right. So I think, from a organization perspective, companies are actually looking at, so they are kind of profiling people also. It's not just listening at the conversation. For example, Karan, if you were to write a review about a brand, and then there are two ways to look at your your reach of the conversation. One is organic scoring, one is advanced scoring. So organic scoring would be just the likes or comments or retweets you've got, but advanced scoring would be how many people actually shared it and what is the likelihood of the number of impressions that you would have generated in Twitter based on your number of followers, etc. So companies are actually looking at that, and they kind of, they are taking cues and they are taking notes and, putting you in another bucket. But of course, they're not really incentivizing you right now in any way whatsoever. From a customer point of view, I know there were tools which were, which were telling what the value of your tweets are, but I don't, this was really 3-4 years back, and I'm not too sure if they exist today or not. I'm not too sure if such a tool exists which kind of gives you a value on what your tweet was. But of course, I mean, I'm talking about monetary sense, but in terms of valuing your opinion, brands are doing that. But these are brands which are really, really, heavy on social.
Great, great. By the way, just to add on to that, what Karan is saying is that he's giving an example, like if my friend has bought something and like it, as an organization is using the data to target me as his connect or part of his social circle.
Not right now, because it's really challenging to do that, because like I said, that piece is the holy grail is right now. It's really difficult to map your network, and it is something that brands do want to do, of course, but they've not done it yet.
Just to add to that, Karan, there's something interesting that we are trying to do in our organization. Like on Facebook, there is an option to target people based on their phone numbers. So if our sales team is calling someone, we actually try to simultaneously trigger an ad on social media. So it's not really targeting the social circle of that person, but in a way trying to use a social, try to build a social connection. That's something that people do. but yeah, I personally have never heard of what you're talking about also. Great.
Right,
So,
and actually, this is something. Sorry, but
yep,
this is something that we are also. It is there in our roadmap as well. We want to do this. We want to be able to do this.
got it. That could be a really killer feature for sure.
Yeah.
The question is asked by Muralidhar. He wants to know when a prospective customer with social profile enters our website, is there a way we can find that out? Which all hotels he has stayed earlier or destination that he has visited. So in a way, I mean, if a visitor, I mean, just to give a broader perspective to this question, if a visitor is coming to my website and I want to really use the social circle that that person has and try to personalize the whole thing. So are there various ways to do that? Any suggestion in that regard?
Unless if you have like many websites, for example, Huffington Post had your recommended articles to read. Whatever you were reading was also getting updated on social network kind of thing. There are companies which have tried to do that, and they have logins. Right, if you log in with your Facebook and Twitter, they are tracking your moves. They are tracking the data around you. But very specifically, if you were to say that the check-ins, I don't know if they've done it at a probably Foursquare would be able to give that data, but I don't know if they've used that data at all right now, or if they are tracking that data. Would be difficult to say actually.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, using the if you have them logged in onto your site, then you have the social data. But if you do not
Yeah.
have them logged in onto your site, probably remarketing, retargeting are the good options to uh, track them anywhere else and based on their behavior on your website. But yeah, I'm also not aware of that, Muralidhar. That's something I'm not also aware. Yeah. So another question is asked by Archana. She wants to know, like social CRM for customers, is there an example you can quote for social ERM, which is social employee relationship management? As an employee, are the internal customers for the company?
Yeah, this is very interesting actually, and there are a lot of things that people are looking to implement on this angle. For example, Cisco has this program called Social Brand Ambassador, where they consider their employees as their brand ambassador, and they ask them to spread the word around them or use social networking sites to talk about them. And even Tech Mahindra is actually moving into those lines, using employees and kind of using the relationship with employees to take it to the taking the relationship to social kind of a thing. And a lot of move is also being done in intra-site level. So, a lot of companies, like for example, a company that we are in talks with right now wants to use intelligence on intra-network sites and plus the social, social web data. They want to integrate these two data, and they want to profile their employees better. So yes, I think companies are definitely looking into that, and I think that will be probably in the next year. We should have some kind of information on that.
Got that. So Archana, the example is 1 year down the line, and very soon you will see Simplify 360 doing this. Great. So another question is asked by Ashish. She wants to know, what are the free tools for social CRM? In fact, Sweta, if you could help just paint broadly the landscape of the kind of tools that are available, what can we expect in the free tools, and when is the right time to move to some good paid tools, and what are the aspects to look at? So since you are in, like, you're dealing in the tool space a lot, so if you could just help us with the whole landscape bit on that, that would be very helpful.
No, I don't know. In terms of free tools, how many tools offer you the feature of CRM, because it's an expensive thing actually, to be able to track and reply, and the entire workflow becomes very expensive. But if you're just starting out, I would suggest you can use tools like Hootsuite or probably social mentions, the free version of it, or just use probably I think Hootsuite would be a good option to start with. And Hootsuite has a paid version as well. I mean, once you move into the advanced level, and only once you have kind of the budgets to implement something where you have a lot of conversations coming in, where you want to do a lot of automation in terms of assigning conversations, replying to them real time. The problem with free tools is that you miss out a lot of conversation, and you might not be able to do it in real time with alerts, and you would not be able to auto assign and things like that. I mean, a lot of sophistication would be missing. But if you are at a very start, I think free tools like Hootsuite free version should be able to answer it for you. Or and for websites, I think Google Alerts could be the first option.
Got it. Got it. So Google Alerts, Hootsuite, Social Mention are the some of the free ones, but not the comprehensive enough um, because it's an expensive proposition. I hope you got your answer, Ashish. Okay, another interesting question is from Murlidhar. And that he wants to know: is it good to have social CRM initiatives in-house, or is it okay to outsource it to an agency? And you mentioned that there's so many profiles involved. I mean, everybody across the organization is possibly involved and can use the data in some way or other.
Yeah.
So how and like when to outsource, why to outsource, should we outsource? So what's your opinion on that?
I think that's more of an organization's call, because some organizations believe that experts should handle certain thing. Some organizations believe that they should have everything in-house. So completely an organization's call. But I think what we facilitate as a as a platform is even it's about the workflow or kind of systematic approach. Even if you are outsourcing it and you have 3 people in-house and 2 people from outside, you will be able to keep control of everything. One of the things that I can give you an example of, certain companies have seen that agencies, when people leave, and disgruntled employees sometimes leave certain remarks on social for their pages, right? Which makes it very important to have a control on your profiles, to have a kind of a approval system in house. Even though you outsource this entire work, there should always be somebody who's taking charge, or kind of in charge of all the activities that is happening from within the organization. It is important. Outsourcing it, or insourcing people and doing it in-house is completely up to you. But to be able to keep track of everything in-house is very, very important.
Got it. Great. So guys, I'm actually taking more questions, and simultaneously I'm launching this question. If you want to use Simplify 360 products for your organization, just mention yes over here. And then specifically if you are dealing with some objective in your organization wherein you can use these tools. And what we can do is I'll forward all the contact details to Sweta, and then someone from Simply 360 will contact you. Okay, by the time you're answering this question, another interesting question from Roshan Jadhav. He wants to know, for B2B companies, is it really worth to use social CRM? A company has list of manufacturers of video surveillance product. So what are the strategies that can be used for these kind of companies?
Right. I mean, actually, for that matter, we work with Schneider, and they are actually a B2B company. What you can do in that sense is, it is important to have your expectations right. I mean, for B2C, it's a different ball game altogether. For B2B, it's completely different. And what you would want to do using social CRM would be completely different, because you would not really care about Twitter and Facebook, because nobody would ideally be talking about you. There will be some PR news here and there which would come, of course, but primarily your search space would be limited. You would have certain 10 forums where probably the industry experts are talking, and you would want to track those conversations. But and also you might want to track conversations around your key stakeholders, and that's something that we have seen B2B companies doing largely. They do not use it in the similar fashion as a B2C company, but their their kind of conversation the tracking that they do is very limited in terms of keywords, in terms of sources as well.
Got it. I hope you got your answer, Roshan. Another question is asked by Ashish. He wants to know what is the minimum budget required to implement social CRM. I know it's a subjective question, but if there are some guidelines on how to decide on what budgets to be kept.
Right. So actually, any kind of system that you check today, which offers social CRM, they primarily have 3-4 parameters that define your costing. One is the volume of data that you expect. So how much of conversation do you see around your brand or keywords coming in every month? Second is how many users licenses would you need? So how many people would you have logged in to answer those queries or to respond and use the system actually? And third is how many things would you be tracking? Would you be just, would you want to just track your brand, or would you want to track the entire industry? These are ideally 3 main parameters that most of the companies or most of the products have for defining your pricing. In terms of costing, I think most of the system would anywhere upwards of, I think, $500 per month is what typically products are charged at.
Got that. Okay guys, I'm actually launching this second poll also by the time I'm taking up more questions. So if you want to take formal courses from Digital Vidya, just mention yes over here and someone from our team will call you. Or if you're already participating, then you can just mention that you're already participating. Okay, so another interesting question Adil is asking, are these social features available in Microsoft CRM? And I just wanted to expand it further, in terms of if I'm already using some internal CRM tool. For example, internally at Digital Vidya, we are using Zoho. So while all these conversations are very important, but I somehow want all the things to be integrated at one CRM platform. So how is this integration of social with the existing CRM works?
Right. So most of the good platforms actually integrate with other CRM systems. For example, we integrate. We have all the APIs for integration with other CRM systems. We kind of already have integration with Salesforce. We've done integrations with KFuse and any other system that you're using in house. We would be able to integrate with that system. And there are 2 kind of integrations being done as of now. One is a push integration where all the data that is available in Simplify 360 would be pushed to your CRM system if you're using Radian6 or Siebel or Microsoft Dynamics, etc. And the other is pushing the conversations out, so response API, which is basically you should be able to reply from your CRM system to the outer networks. So both of these are being done right now. So that's in place actually.
Got that. Okay, another interesting question asked by Karan. By the way, Adil was asking, are there features available in Microsoft CRM? So any integration with Microsoft CRM? By the way, I'm not even aware of Microsoft CRM.
Microsoft Dynamics, I think Microsoft Dynamics has some social components. I have, frankly, I've never used Microsoft Dynamics, and I haven't really come across it too much. Also, from our user perspective, also most of the people have are using Salesforce and they want integration with Salesforce. Oracle Siebel is something that we come across many times, and most of the companies have their own custom CRM that they want to integrate with. So I'm sure Microsoft Dynamics would have integrations available, but I'm sorry I would not be able to know what kind of APIs they have available right now.
Got that. Okay, another interesting question is asked by Karan. He wants to know, are there laws related to use of data captured from social media platforms? Is this, I mean, since you are also have customers geography located at different locations, so is there something like if you could, in Europe or in US and in India, have you come up any such case wherein you're restricted because of the laws?
Actually, we have not really come across laws as such. in terms of tracking your conversation, because all these are third-party conversations. I mean, if you go, if you are writing something on Facebook or on Twitter or on any site which is open, be rest assured that anybody can read it. So you should never write something which you are not comfortable showing to the world. And that's why there are no privacy policies around these platforms. Having said that, we have really seen some kind of strong reactions in Middle East. When they've heard what we are doing, they were not really happy with it. But in terms of laws, not really. We haven't come across any privacy laws. And frankly, because we just pull the data which are out there public and we give it, we just show it. So we're not really we're not even there in any privacy problem, because we're not getting into the website or screen scrapping or anything like that. So I think we are pretty safe there.
Got that. Okay, so another question asked by Komal, he or she wants to know, how do you identify the duplicacy in the social profile, because most of them are free and does not require adequate credentials, and what is the time frame for historic data that can be used to establish a trend?
I'm sorry, Kapil, I kind of lost you in between. Can you repeat that?
I'll just read it. The question is that how do you identify the duplicacy in the social profiles? Because most of them are free and does not require credentials. So, I mean, what I would suggest is that, like for establishing the credibility of a profile, is there some way, like cloud is one way to do it, but is it something built in tool wherein before even responding to that, there is some sort of credibility of a profile of a question being asked, being used, or what way it's been handled in Simplify 360? So if you could throw some light on this.
Actually, when we do all this data collection and, there is a layer of, cleaning and spam control which is being done. And duplicity is one thing we definitely look at, duplicity of content and profile, of course. And we do take cloud scores, and we have our own scores also on every profile that comes into the system. And we do tackle it at a level from our side, and we hope that kind of answers the question. But even while you're responding to people, we show you a lot of insights about the person. So you get to see, how many followers he has, how many following he has, what kind of tweets has he done, and things like that. So I think that kind of solves the duplicity problem. I think at a system level, we take care of that.
Got that. Great. So what are, another question asked by Ashish is, what are the key benefits for e-commerce organization from social CRM?
I think e-commerce is like, probably is the biggest use case, because people are buying online, and reviews are really, really important. So I think e-commerce should definitely have social CRM in place, any kind, small or big, because when I'm buying, because I'm online while I'm buying, it's easier for me to leave something nasty or leave something nice about you, or ask questions about you. And we work with a couple of e-commerce companies, and it's pretty much, the implementation is pretty much the same as any other company. You have your keywords that you would be interested in, and you would track the conversations, and you would take action on those conversations. It actually gives you much more insight, much more live, because the numbers are high, so you can get a lot of insights very quickly. For example, are people talking more about, technology or gadgets that you're selling, or people talking more about fashion products that you're selling? What kind of things are people talking positively about? Which kind of things are people talking negatively? Wednesday is something which is, Wednesday 3 p.m. is the time when people talk the most. So you can probably push some kind of campaign to push more sales, while Saturday 2 o'clock is not such a good time. So all these insights are really, really good for you to design better campaigns.
Got it. Great. I think we have answered now all the questions that's been put up so far. There's one question that is left. Archana wants to know, why is it that the technology or processes behind social CRM are so complex when the whole world is about simplification? So do you think, or I mean, I think overall, what is the future of social CRM that you are anticipating, and where do you think the whole thing is growing?
Actually, Archana, back-end is complicated. I mean, it's complicated for us who do the engineering, but I think front-end is pretty easy, and that's why we provide you the platform. When you log in, you just see the things that are needed for you to see. You see your use case, you see the dashboard that is important for you, you see the messages that you need to take action on. So to make things simple for you, it becomes complicated for us because we have to do the hard work. So I think the actual end user, it's very simple. But of course, there's so much complexity involved because of the data. There is so much of data. I mean, the kind of server and the kind of infrastructure that we have in place. The amount of data that comes in every second is huge. And to be able to tackle that and to be able to do that in real time and apply all the business rules in real time, it is a little complicated, because you want to say that, if this is the guy who's complained earlier, as soon as the complaint comes, I want him to be put in another cluster. So, it gets complicated because of the size of data, nothing else.
Got it. So it's complex because of the size, but you get a good picture, Rachna, so you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, we are there to take care of it. Don't worry.
Right. Great. I think with that, I really want to thank you for taking time out. I think it's a very, very interesting session, and for me it was hugely informative, and I'm sure that's true for most of the people who attended today's session. So thanks a lot for taking time out. And thank you everyone for taking time out, and happy Christmas to all of you. Yeah.
Thanks, Kapil.
That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all of you. Have fun.
Thank you. The session is complete.